If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new songs in the description. Have y'all seen these Yeat numbers? He is finally mainstream now. Like, he arrived, like, officially, because he was kind of one of the most mainstream underground artists out there for the past year. I would say ever since 2AfterLyfe dropped, but he's mainstream now. And today, we're going to take a look at the crazy numbers that Yeat's new album, AfterLyfe, actually put up. So let's get straight into the video. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 20 seconds into the future. But you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and recaps everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week. And also, follow me on TikTok. I'm posting on there daily. You don't want to miss out on that. Now let's get into the video. So Yeat dropped his new album, AfterLyfe, on February 24th. So 3 days ago, last Friday. And I was live on Twitch listening to it. Shout out to everybody that tuned in, and I like the album, man. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but it's definitely one that I've been going back to a lot. My favorite songs being the intro track, No More Talk. I like None Night Change. Obviously Split, the snippet we had, How We Go, but also stuff like, you know, we had some like Back Home was amazing, stuff like that. So definitely more of the on the experimental side of things. But this thing is doing crazy numbers because this album is supposed to sell 60 to 70,000 units first week, making it his biggest debut yet. Now, the reason this is so big is because his last album, 2Alive, sold 35,000. And obviously selling double the amount you sold last time is big. It's very big. I think it even sold more now than Life and 2Alive combined. Now, obviously, these numbers aren't final yet because we're not over with the week, but that's the projections right now. What's also crazy to consider is that Don Toliver dropped his new music, Lovesick, the same day, and he's only sung 36,000. And that man is Cactus Jack. That man is Travis Scott backed, and Yeat did it on his own with almost no feature. We had one Youngboy feature on there, but he almost did it on his own, so that's crazy. A couple more stats that I got for y'all. It reached #1 on the top album charts on Apple Music the day that it released, which is pretty big for Yeat, as I said, went above Lovesick by Don Toliver, which was the top competitor in this one. It also amassed 18.75 million first day streams on Spotify alone. So that is insane. Almost 20 million streams in one day is actually insane. Now, also, he was the artist that had the most spots on the Top Songs USA on the day that it dropped. And he still has a couple of them in the top 50 when you look on Spotify. They're kind of slowly now falling down the ranks, but that was to be expected. We're going to see which songs actually stick. We saw it on Life Without the Way, that is now only really blowing up and getting all the traction that it definitely deserves. Talk is also still, you know, rising in numbers, so definitely not like a one-hit wonder, but still putting up sustainable numbers. Also, No More Talk got into the charts, obviously, and also, which I think is the craziest statistic of them all, is that when you looked at the top artists that were streamed that day, I think it was Drake at #1, Taylor Swift at #2, and Yeat at #3. Which is crazy. To have him up there with Taylor Swift and Drake, that is actually insane. So big shout out to Yeat for the success on this new album, AfterLyfe. And this obviously confirms all the things that we've been talking about before, with Yeat establishing himself as an artist, showing all these underground artists where they can take it. So definitely a very, very, very big dub for Yeat. And also, I know a lot of people like talk about this, but like Yeat outsold like every major artist that dropped this year. You know, Yachty sold 30 something first week with Let's Start Here, but we got to give him the benefit of, you know, Let's Start Here being a more experimental record. And then Trippie Redd sold 58K with Mansion Music, but he had multiple, I think over 20 features with the whole industry on the record. And Yeat had exactly one feature, the one from NBA Youngboy. So Yeat doing this now is like insane. Also, by the way, happy birthday to Yeat. He just turned 23 like yesterday. So happy birthday to La Geek. Now, I'm not saying that this album is a masterpiece. I do want to kind of, you know, clarify that, because this album is not a masterpiece. It's not like, I don't think it will be somewhat of a Whole Lotta Red where people only 2 years later realize how great the album actually was. I don't think that it's going to be that way. You know, just to be fair, I think this is going to be a solid starting point, a solid benchmark from where Yeat can then move on and do even more stuff. But this definitely opens the doors for him for so much more, especially also for new collaborations, especially also for, you know, getting put on by different people in the game. When you put up numbers like this, you cannot go unnoticed. When you outsell every major record label signed artist in the industry with no features, almost no features, then you're definitely on the radar. Now, I don't think that the whole rage sound and the way that the underground is working right now will be the sound that will like blow up eventually, or be the sound that is going to become mainstream. Yeat himself infamously said that he's moving away from rage beats, focusing on other stuff, kind of what we've seen on tracks like what was on there? Watch was on there. We had Now. We had, as I said, None Night Change. Those were a bit more experimental, so we see him working around a little bit with different sounds. I don't think that the rage sound is going to be the next big thing. Don't think it's going to be Plug and B, but it's definitely going to be some sort of subdivision of those that is going to become prevalent over the next 2 to 3 years. I believe that is my prediction. And we got artists like Yeat that are pushing the boundaries and allowing and opening doors and allowing new artists to then break through and, you know, have paved the way for them to then establish themselves. Especially, I mean, we just had Drake kind of hint at a retirement in the near future, you know, not anytime soon, but in the near future, and we got to have some artists that is replacing him. It's not going to be Kenny, it's not going to be Cole, because those are also part of the older generation now when it comes to different artists coming up. So it's going to be someone from this new generation. It's likely not going to be Yeat. You know, I don't see that happening, but it's definitely someone that we can all in 10 years remember as one of the first ones that really did it this big. And with that, I think that this is actually a pretty big moment in hip hop. You know, we have this artist coming through, outselling everybody just by the support of his fans, and you can clearly see that this sound is in high demand, and he will, you know, we can kind of look back and be like, oh, he did it with AfterLyfe. I don't want to take away any credit from like Cardi or like any other person that has done the same over the past 10 years. I get that, and Cardi is definitely a bigger artist and a more influential artist than Yeat. Yeat himself is only a Cardi copy, but Cardi is not doing anything right now. Yeat is the one that has been putting out the music and, like, you know, riding the different waves that have been coming up over the past 2 years, and the one that's now like reaping the benefits of it. So wherever Yeat goes, we will watch, and I think it's gonna be insanely interesting to see where he takes this next, because this one was the big test. We all talked about this. This one was the one where he had to prove that he had some longevity in the game, and he more than did that. He outdid himself. As I said, I was saying 50K. Not a lot of people were even saying 50K, and now it's at 60, 70. That's actually insane. So shout out to Yeat. Now, that's it for the video. Let me know what you think about this. Do you agree with me on all these things? Do you disagree? What do you think is going to be the next big thing in hip-hop? Is it going to be Yeat? Is it going to be someone else who's still coming up and Yeat has paved the way for them? All of your thoughts on this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.